Lots to talk about. Our friend Will Palaszczuk, who is the play-by-play voice of Charlotte FC, also post-game for the Hornets on WFNZ in Charlotte, and an avid NBA watcher. We're going to talk about that as well. Also, the Hornets have a chance, I guess, to win the NBA draft lottery, which is a week from yesterday. And they have as good a chance as any, I guess. 14% chance, along with Utah and Washington, to end up with with Cooper Flagg, since I assume he will be the first overall selection in the draft, so we can discuss where the Hornets may go. But first, hi, Will. How are you?
So you're saying there's a chance, Adam?
So
you're saying there's a chance?
I am saying there's a chance.
I heard that you made a little run at the Crown this morning on.
I did
on our airwaves.
I did.
What's the deal, Adam?
It's a grudge match. It's a grudge match. It is Charlotte FC and North Carolina FC. It's up. It's on tonight at Wake Med Soccer Park in Cary. This franchise, if you will, has done very well historically in the U.S. Open Cup. And they have done well against MLS sides. Ask LA Galaxy about that. I think did we lose Will? Did Will go away? Or did he turn the lights out on himself? I think we lost Will. We'll have to get him back. We're going to have to get him back now. Because I believe Smack was about to be discussed.
I know. I was going to say maybe you scared him off because of the Smack talk. Oh, wait, I think
want
he's back.
No part of this.
I'm here.
There he is. He's back. So, as I was saying, back in a former life when they were the Railhawks, this organization has done very well in U.S. Open Cup matches.
It has.
And most of the time, it's because the MLS sides they've rotated out a lot of their first team. We never saw David Beckham play here. Landon Donovan came, and I think might have come on in the last time the Galaxy were here, but they were not here to play. They were just here to they're here, and they could wave from the from the touchline. Is Charlotte FC going to bring their fifth in the East table, which is very good, bring that heat tonight?
So it's interesting, Adam. Charlotte in previous years has given very much a level of reverence to the U.S. Open Cup. So it's not as if they will bring a fully rotated side. We really don't have any experience with Dean Smith as an Open Cup coach. Last year when they had the Leagues Cup, which, as you know, was the competition that they do between them and Liga MX, he handled it a little bit differently. He rotated very heavily, and I think a lot of people kind of maybe accused him of not really caring about the Leagues Cup. I think he cares about the Open Cup to a greater degree, at least this year, and I think they'll care about the Leagues Cup a little bit too, because they made some changes there to where it's more MLS versus Liga MX teams, so there's more incentive to do so there. I do think, though, they are going to try to rotate some. They are going to have to rotate at least a force change in the back line with Adilson Malanda, their starting center back and Defender of the Year candidate. He's out because of a red card that he took in an Open Cup game 2 years ago, the last Open Cup game that Charlotte played against Birmingham Legion back in Matthews. So that's an unfortunate thing the Crown has to deal with. They might try to move Tim Ream inside, play him alongside Privet, or they can go with a veteran Bill Tuiloma to go alongside of him and maybe put Jaquil Marshall-Ruddy on the outside, somebody brand new guy they just brought in. In terms of the front line, it would not shock me to see Edon Toklamati start and Ajiman sit, but they could obviously want Ajiman to get some confidence and start him from the start. Unfortunately, Adam, they don't have a lot of workable depth at this point. Sometimes you use Open Cup to try and manufacture that. But at the same point in time, I think Dean Smith, from what he said, they're going to try to go for it. Now, does that mean you see Wilfred Zaha playing a full 90? I don't know. So from that perspective, there's a lot of, I think, open concepts of interpretation that you can take and parse from Dean Smith's comments. But from what he said, they are definitely going to go for it with a representative side.
Will Palaszczuk, voice of Charlotte FC, is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. Are you saying Wilfred Zaha will be in the matchday squad tonight? Because that would be great, because if he's here, it doesn't make any sense to bring him here if he's not going to come on. He's one of the more dynamic players that we will see in the league. I hope he's going to play. And I have another question about it. So real quick about Zaha. Yes?
So the unfortunate thing about the roster with Open Cup is you can only dress 18. So if you want to stay away from a guy, you can't. You dress 20 in Major League Soccer and most other leagues around the world. But the Open Cup only lets you dress 18. So if you wanted to stay away from a guy, it makes no sense to bring him. So
okay.
I think basically what I'll say to you is, if he's rostered, he's going to play. If they want to stay away from him, you won't see him on the 18. I don't mean to hedge the question. I don't know 100% if he's going to play or not. So I think that's kind of the way I'll say it is, if they want to stay away from him, they won't roster him.
Yeah, real quick about MLS and U.S. Open Cup. I wish, as a league, this is not an editorial comment about Charlotte FC. I wish, as a league, they cared more about it, because it is a great competition.
Mm-hmm.
And
of course.
I understand why they have hedged. There is a power struggle between the U.S. Open Cup, outfit and Major League Soccer. I totally get it, but I really wish that everybody was more on board with this. Look, I just use this as an example. Liverpool didn't dress an A side at Plymouth Argyle. They lost. And they cared about it after they lost. They didn't care about it enough to dress a better squad, although they probably still should have won the game. But that's what I would tell
you. I'll tell you from what Dean Smith said. He, again, came in this job last year, and he basically was like, a lot of these decisions were made either at the league level or not even at the ownership level. He said he didn't know why they weren't in the Open Cup last year. He would have liked to play in the Open Cup a year ago instead of having Crown Legacy represent us. So I think it comes down to everybody has individual thoughts about it. I would like to see, from an editorial standpoint, this is me talking, not representative of the club talking, I would like to see some more roster opening rules to where you could use more of your player pathway guys in order to have those things happen, so to where you're not feeling like you have to use all your first teamers, and that it does provide that. But at the same point in time, you want Charlotte FC players to be playing for Charlotte FC. So at the same point in time, so I get why they don't want to do that, but at the same point in time, I would like to see the rosters expanded to a level to where, you're limited by the 30 that you have. So from that perspective, asking them to play a 34-round season, U.S. Open Cup, Leagues Cup, playoffs. I mean, we're going all the way into December if you go to the MLS Cup, and they restart again in February. So it does offer some match congestion, which I can understand from the league standpoint. They want to try to avoid.
Yeah, I mean, it does, however, sound a little bit like the top European leagues, which I think we should be okay with, right?
They got the same. They got the Club World Cup too in the summer too. Now they've got a brand new ball of wax to go in, and you got some players sitting there. Kevin De Bruyne came out and said, my contract's up at the end of the league season. I don't want to play in the Club World Cup.
He doesn't.
Same kind of thing.
He doesn't, and Real is trying to get Trent Alexander-Arnold on board sooner than his contract runs out, so he can take part in it. Let me get to the NBA playoffs with Will Palaszczuk at Willie P Style on Twitter. Which game surprised you more last night? I know the answer for me. Denver's win in OKC or the Knicks beating Boston?
The Knicks game, obviously, and not just the result itself, but the game within the game. The fact that New York had to come back from 20 down to not only make it a game, but then ultimately outright win. Mikal Bridges had an incredible game, a warrior out there defensively, and also making some shots too as well. I felt like Denver would have something for Oklahoma City. Now, do I have them, outright winning the series? I don't think so. But I thought Denver would definitely put up more of a representative fight in this series than I thought New York would for Boston. But you think about the way New York has gone through their offseason and gone through their roster build, They basically want to be their version of Boston, and that's why they went out and got Karl Anthony Towns. That's why they have all that length and all that opportunity to shoot. They've got a great inside-out game, and Boston kind of fell in love with the three, and it did not love them back, as you may have known, the way that game went.
60? They were 50. They made 15, which is a pretty nice number. If you make 15 threes, you're probably good. But if you shoot 60 of them and just make 15, it's not so good.
Not ideal. Not ideal. But, hey, that's how way a lot of these teams play. I mean, Charles Lee came over from that Boston system. He wants them to play that way. It's all about the analytics. They tell me 3 is more than 2, but as I will always retort, 2 is also more than 0. So be that as it may.
That is true. It all depends on the percentage that you shoot from 3 versus the percentage you shoot from 2. You only need to make 1/3 of your 3s if you make half of your 2s, and that ends up being the same.
Did you read a James Naismith book or something? I know that he didn't have the 3-point shot.
He did not. They were shooting at peach baskets back then.
That's true.
And they did not have anything called analytics.
That's true.
They were also wearing like probably dress shoes.
Not for nothing. Not for nothing though. He did coach at Kansas, so you had to speak slower for them.
Oh, spoken like a Mizzou grad. That is so beautiful.
You know, they have a thing there at Missouri where they will not capitalize the letter K in Kansas because it is neither a proper name nor a proper place.
That is beautiful. On that note, we will say goodbye to Will Palaszczuk at Willie P. Style on Twitter, the voice of Charlotte FC. I hope you guys fall gently tonight.
That's
gently.
Funny. That's funny. That's funny. May the best Carolina team win.
There you go, man. I'll talk to you later. Thank you.
Thank you, Adam.
You got it. Will Palaszczuk here on the Adam Gold Show. All right.